say sika send the way you the national cathedral. Can for that time answer? What the lawyers that work actually say we don't have the right to ask him. Yani momu ya fire figure mra. Oh, on the finance minister. This is unbelievable, man. Me who be that in my life. In fact, me no me who Jack. Like what you are watching is not a joke. Who finance minister did not even give us that respect to say yes or no, or to one or say. And this person will come and tell you quotations. 190 million. Finance minister said yes or no. Now even the just give us that respect, keke. Sit, just get up and sit upright and talk to us, keke. Now, kwasi afobie friend to my betinichi say support to Kenu Furiata. Udi o mata wese Kevin Muadie. Mo finance minister ni you. And he chooses which question to answer. Like Ghana no be there. That Ghana belong to somebody. Why is it so difficult for this guy to resign? And why is it so difficult for Ekufuado to make this guy resign? Na mo Ghana for na mo ti wona ye ti ha kasa kire bo no ade we abroche ki kuna basa hwe ati akofo ye mu obi abie mu he yenya editorial of the day no na yenko yenim. Now yenyina yenim asama esi a efa Ken Oforiata ene NPP for edin kan ka say omo support Ken Oforiata na yena na dan Ekufuado empam no later the minority and so eka say they also think same and that omo nyina mbra parliament na omo beto so aba na yempam Oforiata. You could do parliament MPP for say omo kan omo boa Oforiata we are Ghana ska kra omo ni problem onko so no wia enti Alban Bagbin or speaker of parliament no okay say and or committee no kwatena so no to eye omo de asem no eba parliament eye NDC for omo so omo insist say Ken Oforiata yempam no na Ken Oforiata na kasa omo toto omo no ene omo a omo kan ho bia na eye omo fa anu ye embre no na onhu de beye e so tia say minority no move be a motion say nka so mo debate fa ho say na Ken Oforiata ye pam no nti Alban Bagbin say so mo dey report we free ad hoc committee a ote ne ba e na obehwe de obeye so obe koso e mama ye debate no akire say Ken Oforiata or say pam na say ni say pam no. Now what I want to say in say so ya Ghana ni na say wo share proceedings way from Monday through to Friday and na say oran ho a I will say Otiasie say Ondo Ghana. From the beginning of this, and as Alban Bagbin can say, Omunkoti committee, MPP 44, NDC 44, Nkoti National. Maybe Kano has said Alban Bagbin has done Ghana great disservice. The Alban Bagbin at the end of the day no, actually say that decision he took say Obie committee. Abrana our option to let the two parties in parliament, NDC 4 and MPP 4, to go head on head to debate on the matter. But Oteki, the other router, who said na or they also protect Ken Oforiata and Ekufuado. Because Onim says Obie floor no for a debater. It was going to be difficult for the NPP members to defend Ken Oforiata in parliament. Now Alban Bagbin Eti committee he knew and he knows for a fact said the moment Ken Oforiata ebeba committee national or the lawyer beba and the lawyer will protect Ken Oforiata from answering some questions yene Ghana for no we actually want to get to the bottom of it because say enka parliament and na omo be a debate na nka omo frɛ Ken Oforiata say omo yin sembia no anka onya access to a lawyer anka Ken Oforiata will have to speak without a lawyer shielding him. Now Alban Bagbin knowing or is playing game with Jubilee House and MPP4 because without due respect I will never be that person who will talk about Alban Bagbin's health But also Alban Bagbin here, he's really battling some health problems. And I think say a situation of woman, it needs a lot of government assistance and financial assistance to be able to keep up with the medical treatment. So one way or the other, no, the government, Ekufuado's government and the Oforiatta's government, that will issue money for Alban Bagbin to be able to fight any health complications. You know, Alban Bagbin knows that if he does not do what they want, they are going to deprive him of the funds he needs to stay alive. I don't blame Alban Bagbin, because if I were him, I would have taken the same decision. When a person health failing, you know, I would rather take the other route that at least at the end of the day, favor, and that the inflow of air funds to support me as a speaker when I am down to go for treatment outside Ghana and back, you know, it will continue coming in. Because if Alban Bagbin is too hard on Ken Oforiatta and Ekufuado, his source of funds to help him release legally and yet illegally, to be released illegally, because the finance minister can decide to slow down the funds that goes to Alban Bagbin through parliament for him to get his release, medical condition solved. And see, Alban Bagbin also thinking about his health. You know, this is what I think. And the decision he took, if I were in his position, I would take the same, because it's a lot of money to sustain Alban Bagbin and yet the medical bills now. So Alban Bagbin decided to play game, or decided to play ball with Jubilee House and Oforiatta, instead of bringing out Ken Oforiatta to the slaughter for his party to defend him, or for parliament to let Ghanaians know Ken Oforiatta does not deserve to fill that position. No? Alban Bagbin indirectly created a window for Ken Oforiatta to go, sneak through to get some kind of help when he is being questioned about the criminality he has overseen. And you will see, sir, this process was a premeditated process by Alban Bagbin to protect Oforiatta, to save himself. And I've said, Alban Bagbin, I don't hate him for the decision he took. He has been in politics for long, and maybe he wasn't smart to steal. So at this juncture, he would need government assistance to help him, to help protect or help save him when it comes to his health complications. If maybe he had stolen as a politician, working as an NDC politician, if he had stolen a lot of money, he wouldn't today be a slave to these criminals by creating windows for Ken Oforiatta to go through. So with me, I will do the same thing Alban Bagbin is doing, because his life is at stake. And when I say his life is at stake, nobody is chasing to kill him. But his actions will decide or will determine whether he lives or dies soon. So the decision Alban Bagbin took from day one, I said, Alban Bagbin has not been loyal to Ghana. Alban Bagbin has not been fair to Ghanaians. But if Alban Bagbin was my dad and you tell me that, I'll be angry, because I need my dad alive. I need my dad. He's my dad before the Speaker of Ghana. So if you tell Alban Bagbin's wife this, she'll be mad. If you tell Alban Bagbin's son this, he'll be angry. And when you look at how things rolled out in Parliament today, and from Monday to today, no, you will see clearly that Alban Bagbin deliberately created this problem for us. Now, who didn't know from day one that Ken Oforiatta is a thief? Ekufuado's government, they are thieves. The National Cathedral, the whole process is murky. The whole process, National Cathedral, it was not authorized by the people of Ghana. Who didn't know? Said the oil revenues are Oforiatta, a creative offshore company, and they took the money, $100 million over to squander. No? Who didn't know? Said Oforiatta has stolen that money. Oforiatta was supposed to face judgment through Alban Bagbin by going straight to Parliament to be debated on. Alban Bagbin did not have to give Oforiatta another life. Alban Bagbin has given Oforiatta another life because he knows that the allegations against Oforiatta, no, when he goes to the committee, Okofesioma, he can hide behind legality, his lawyers, and avoid answering very important questions that we, the people of Ghana, we want answers to. Now, when you go and check the so-called, I'll call it allegations, NDC side, you know, edibaye. Ese omu reason wo sanyoman sun we so. Sa Ken Ofori-Atta does not have to lead Ghana. Ken Ofori-Atta, on these 7 allegations, he has committed a crime against the constitution and crime against his own office, and he does not deserve to move on as the boss when it comes to our finances in Ghana. Now, when you monitor proceedings, now we share the line of questioning, and I would like to say this to Okudzato Ablakwa. I would like to say this to Senator Rawlings. And I'd like to say this to Mr. Ayeni. What I want to tell them, and I say, at a point, Ghanaians got to that level of who say, even though you people are partisan, you are politicians, some people were willing to put everything on the table to let Ghanaians know the truth. Senator Rawlings proved beyond reasonable doubt that her credibility is still intact. Okudzato proved to Ghanaians, said the noise he's been making about the president and also the finance minister stealing from us was legitimate. He proved it on this committee. He wasn't just making statements. He wasn't just interested in press conferences, but he backed it up when he was called to action. So Ablakwa proved to Ghanaians it wasn't personal against Ofori-Atta or personal against Akufo-Addo's government, but it was about the principle and us protecting the national purse. Ayenini, as a co-chair to that horse, K.T. Hammond proved his maturity. At a point, you got to know, say, Ayeni was more fair. Even sometimes you ask yourself, is Ayeni part of the NDC? Because sometimes he gets to the level where he's too fair to the point you get worried. Like, doesn't this guy know what is at stake? But he basically proved to Ghanaians, say, patriotism basically overshadows politics. And at a point, you saw the difference between K.T. Hammond, the level of intelligence, and then Okuta, and the level of intelligence of Ayeni. When the two chairmen or the co-chairmen were speaking on the matters, you could see somebody had brains and somebody had shit in his head. And the consistent, deliberate interjections and distortions by the horse K.T. Hammond Jimmy na on to me gather thought to follow conversation. It basically made people understand to say, MPP for you, we have the men, it's any horses in the doors. Ghanaians were ready to listen to the truth. At a point, people wanted to know. So the case the NDC is raising, is it legitimate? We are talking about our country and a car Ghana bought and they could for 400 billion and over. This is not a joke. K.T. Hammond, as a co-chair on this committee, has stolen and sold our ship for $24 million. With this. Say anka o Iran anka hangeno ekunu ato atwene. Yes, K.T. Hammond selling the drill ship anka Iran and as any other country to say China anka hangeno anaya body to ekuno. But it is Ghana. We believe in democracy. It is such a person was saying the opportunity to foolishly come and exhibit the highest form of stupidity in front of Ghanaians. Glare, everybody was watching. Yeah, they and I bet we are no say or no make protect you. Now, there's one thing I realized. Watching the whole proceedings, you got to know, say, there are some people Ghana, they are not ready to help Ghanaians. And it is the NPP people. San Kofu na omote panel no and a committee NPP side, they showed the highest level of ungratefulness. They showed the high level of hypocrisy. They showed the high level of criminality. That they condone what Akufo-Addo ne Ofori-Atta mo Because at this point, the MPP said they don't want Ofori-Atta. But the MPP on the committee were protecting Ofori-Atta. So who in their right senses today should believe the NPP? If the NPP did not want Ofori-Atta or do not want or the MPP does not want Ofori-Atta, the MPP should not have even showed up at the committee. They should have proven to us Ghanaians to say, They are protesting even the committee because they don't even want to come there and question Ofori-Atta. They want Ofori-Atta gone, and that they don't want to be part of this committee. But the NPP came, joined, and then they tried to defend Ofori-Atta. Now, when you look on the screen, there are 7 points. Na NDC for now, omudi case they were relying their case on. Point 1, despicable conflict of interest, ensuring that he directly benefits from Ghana's economic woes as his companies benefits from Ghana's economic woes as his companies receive commissions and other unethical contractual advantage, particularly from Ghana's debt overhang. Now, this is a serious matter. The NDC went as far to prove that Ken Ofori-Atta is benefiting from Ghana's business as the finance minister. The NDC, through Atoforsen and Haruna Idrisu, omutumi Ghana for say Ken Ofori-Atta, what he is doing, no, a Ghana na odiye business. They stated and they backed it with facts. NPP for some Ken Ofori-Atta or a crom for, but the NPP on the committee defended Ken Ofori-Atta. Point 2, unconstitutional withdrawals from the consolidated fund in blatant contravention of Article 178 of the 1992 Constitution, supposedly for the construction of the President's Cathedral. The NDC brought documents to show, say, Ken Ofori-Atta Ghana for sika illegally to support an illegal project the president owns. Because we know TFS in there, no Ghanaian, no one signed for a cathedral. In the NDC for say they had facts and documents to prove that Ken Ofori-Atta atamaban sika akoye obi project or person de Ghana for kon we Ghana sika akotu baby ni say odoto. The constitution frowns on that. It is criminal. And remember, NDC for raising the issue, you know, they did not just raise it vaguely. They raised it and backed it with facts. Three, illegal payment of oil revenue into offshore accounts in flagrant violation of Article 176 of the 1992 Constitution. NDC for say Ofori-Atta BA company, offshore company B, and na Oyusu GMPC, and na Ghana Sikana, yenye free oil no, omudi sa sikano eji, omudi loan no, and omudi edi lefty oils, and omudi infasuano etia omu company. When the NDC came before the committee, Atoforsen no, they provided facts to it. Okay. Point 4. Deliberate and dishonest misreporting of economic data to Parliament. Almost like I said, Ken Ofori-Atta about Parliament a couple of times to present the budget, but figures are producing, you know, so concrete musako IMF documents or presenting different documents from the auditor IMF. NDC Atoforsen came with facts. Omo PowerPoint Emma Ghana for who contradiction in Ofori-Atta's data anytime he's presenting Ghana for Asɛm. 5. Fiscal recklessness leading to the crash of the Ghana cedi, which is currently the worst performing currency in the world. NDC for the evidence by the proof he say Ken Ofori-Atta, since he became the finance minister of Ghana, some careless and reckless decisions he took, and the ama Ghana Asɛm akodru bibia edui. Point 6. Alarming incompetence and frightening ineptitude resulting in the collapse of the Ghanaian economy, and an excruciating cost of living crisis and almost say through Ken Ofori-Attah's negligence and Ken Ofori-Attah's incompetence and frightening ineptitude, it is through that Nama and the Ghana's economy abedu bebia edri, and they used facts and figures to back their claim. Finally, number 7, gross mismanagement of the Ghanaian economy, which has occasioned untold and unprecedented hardship. And this was actually presented by Honorable Haruna Idrisu and Honorable Atuforsen. Now, the question you need to ask yourself, all these statements are they not factual? Answers are you not? We are Ghanaian. We need to ubehu sa in some way answers Ken Ofori-Attah bema. Yema Public Interests and Accountability Committee. I am from PIAC. Committee no invite you almost omumra. Omuna omutuma investigate Ghana National Petroleum Company. Say ye fango na ye tamono anase ye tuno fango no adentina ende omo report no also tell say PIAC no aban and a mandate omo say omo betumi a investigate anase a check every government institution their activities. PIAC for no beka kire say omo check nyoma no omo hu say finance minister one Ghana National GMPC omo committee abon and na omo be a company, offshore company. You can say offshore company. Company be omo tina brochire baby. And omo this company no a dupe Ghana. Ye oil na ye left you see enya hu sika no. Omo this company no abeta GMPC ho. And na omo de ye ne sa company no omo de abo ye besia. And na sika ye benya we fangu mu bia no sa company na sika no koro ho na obusa say GMPC munya aden wo ma so company ni kan ye ho enti company na nya sika yeso nya sika but so tia say company no eye nipa bi na kote wa abrochire na at the end of the day no omunya ehon faso enti Ghana fangu no PIAC for ka kire Ghana for e committee no say eye GMPC akodi sika bi a parliament approve. Borrow money without parliamentary approval. Now, Ken Ofori-Attah etam sika free finance minister edema GMPC momo dema company aye freno Joel JOHL abra parliament unsanctioned and as a parliament anjiantum. Now, you need to understand. Answer na finance minister ebetam sika twitwi die bia ma obia no e wo se eba parliament na parliament approve na parliament gitum se sika we dia wo ho kwan se e wo se wo de ma institution we and company we because Ghana for sika at the end of the day no ye bema wa ba be yi ano na de Ken Ofori-Attah any GMPC for ye and say they set up a company and bought our crude oil and sold to Tolu oil. The omo ye say omo ko be a company wa brochire. And as a company no, domi and say, omuma GMP's this company no, eto ye oil no, and na omutoma a tolu. Tolu oil no, almost a company, talk crude oil. Into the Ken Ofori-Attah here and say, could be a company be a bruchy, and only GMP's come to bon, and omutu yenya fango no left here. Na oma eden, oma toama tolu. Infaswana baswa, na infaswana kwasa company no ho, abra emba Ghana ho. But also tia say, omutam Ghana sika, and na omudi edi yes sa jumadie no. Now sa tolo company no, what they do is they now pay them back because omo oil no fango na atoma tolu no omo tua sikana ya oil na atoma tolu no omo tua sikano back to sa company efeno JOHL na omo tua sikano koma JOHL na JOHL na decide sika ya ni ebenya ti ase say in the first place Ken Ofori-Attah mo ne ko be a company no and omo the company ne betare GMPC ho and at the end of the day no sika ya ne ton fango na receipt no ako company no ho sika na ko company no na company ne feel some may be no mama ye bi enti omo deduction no what happened and say one Ken Ofori-Attah sika bi a one bo parliament amane Ken Ofori-Attah agitumu GMPs for G2 mu say yes. Omu yi saa sika no Kenoforiata de mo free parliament. Omu anje parliamentary approval. Now, what is happening is say the amount of oil sa company omu be na broche for an offshore company we be no. Omu left an amount of 944,000 barrels. Almost 1 million barrels. Omu left no 2022 yao. Omu left 944,164 barrels. And na omu left no every Jubilee Fields no. Now what they did was in 2022 no, this is the amount of fangwa yakas omu left here omu twifri assassin mu a cost at the basic $100.7 million. Oil and Kofowe fangwa omuria ya oman report one cheye infaso omunya wo ho abra Kenoforiata ni GMPs for committee bon ho omko be a company offshore company no in oil no in terms of money no o the basic ma $100.7 million. Now you will be a friend of Petroleum Holding Fund. Now anytime biya ye benya mfaso ana ye benya sika every petrol ye beton mu no se Ghana to petrol na se ye ton a ebia ya ton petrol ama Tulu oil Tulu se Ghana for to fango GMPC etu fango a na se Tulu for eto a there was a GMPC ye through the Ministry of Finance no e was sa sika no a ye benya ye de koto bibi a friend no e Petroleum Holding Fund mu kingrain because e Ghana sika ya fango sika. Now omu ye calculation no omu hu say $100.7 million no sa sika no enda Petroleum Holding Fund no sa sika na yira ye busa GMPC also busa Finance Ministry ye busa Finance Ministry say me lawyers say ma me answer wo hu bibia yedu inti Kenoforiata ba before the Parliament of Ghana ende no ye busa say sa sika we oil sika sem we no sa sika sem we no unim hu bia na unim bi o say me lawyer say ma me ma answer inti at the end of the day no sa answers ani ehia every eye GMPC any Ministry of Finance, especially Kenoforiata Ministry of Finance na ono yi sika no emom de sa deal no sa answer na ehia free no say be ka kire ye be $100.7 million naira na fire no Kenoforiata the lawyer by my lawyer na ka say on to me nka yam pene no mo pa mo nko Supreme Court. Inti as we sit here Kenoforiata for $107 million. The lawyer says he answers as Ghanaians are. Yanko Supreme Court a one to my answer. Na yati idea yan for kwasi yankoda. And me yan basic ama what yase. Inti benotie sa question no almost say committee no iniso mubusa Oforiata into the question about the oil lifting no and ye musa Kenoforiata if we say almost say a legal question bia e was say ye ko Supreme Court Ghana na ye ko file case wo ho na ye ba Supreme Court be prove a case say Ghana and sana Kenoforiata oil finance minister na akire ye $100.7 million no oil money na enda fund ni mu no ono akire bebia sika ne da bebia sika ne wo yet Ghana sresre. This is basically what happened at the committee. When Kwan should tell you say there is a problem. This government, we need to rise up against this government. I will say sorry. No mujani. Because the finance minister to me ye Ghana sika abra wanje parliamentary approval. Now you will say $100.7 million from our oil proceeds and beto a photo was a tom. Now and the to catch say yanko Supreme Court ni yanko make a case and sana Kenoforiata amaya answer na yeti krom say ye jimiana yeti krom no ye mwana. Now when your MPP parliamentarians are Asante 4 years 47 so momra say Oma betna parliament defend Kenoforiata say wa $400 million de dia wedi Oma MPP for into dien Intende oko parliament, oko he committee na MPs kojo pon kroma abegina nechi eye kenofuriata 500 million dia inti dien asla wusu abetena ho inti dien eye dambotwe inti dien kanda pa akotena ho sankofo we nyina abetena ho ka kire ne Ghana for say ye pay $100.7 million oil money fangu sika na ye nyina yenko Supreme Court omo de omo tawfuriata echi ye yankwasiafo. Plainly, this is what they are telling us today. $100.7 million. Kenoforiata yamananka ho asem. Abra piak for ba no omo making it clear. GMPC for G2 musa sa sika no sika ayira. Finance minister de busa no yati ha no finance minister the lawyer di ne chiaba abeka kire say ye pa yenko Supreme Court. Na yenko ye case ho na ye kwa ebia ye behu bebia sika no fa but sa committee parliament there ye need rights. Parliament needs a locus no to ask for that money. Intiminote $100.7 million oil money ayira. Nanka John Mahama na ye president. And nsema me ka kire mu nyina no John Mahama NDC time ne see ya ko tumfo bekasa. Anka ohina ne num kankan na ote ebu akwa no ko bekasa. Anka Peace Council bekasa, anka Christian Council bekasa. Anka Mensa Otabo bekasa. Anka Duncan Williams bekasa, anka Hemfo Akese Omoga, anka Council of State bekasa. But Ekufuado ni Oforiata aban. MPP aban. Intende ye nya penyini to say Kufuor waye din $100.7 million. Ye nimbe bia sika nafa. GMPC agiatum, Piaka agiatum se Oforiata na afa Ministry of Finance. Obi any problem ya sa akoda. Ema de achi. Na mpenifo ya betena TV so say ye ne ye mu ade. Na mpenifo betena TV so Kevin Taylor mu ade. Ye mpenifo omuye. Kevin Taylor kasa di tiaye we didi atem. Sebio okwasea ene behu sade we say enye problem. Sebio openyini jimifo ojejentwie penyini kwasea mpenyi ene bedwene say we nye problem. Into Bekacha Alban Bagbin. Sir, committee na watino, you are setting the committee up to protect Oforiata, and this is what has happened. Right now, committee we bibiana omukwa emube pai 4. What is going to happen is Ken Oforiata is going to walk. Because committee ni ba, obviously the NDC people will take their side, the MPP people will take their side, and then Alban Bagbin will say yenya decision into Oforiata still stays. Into what happened there na yaye. They are going to go to parliament. The committee is going to be split at parliament. Then Alban Bagbin, is he going to force for a debate? Because when he forced for a debate, the committee did not come out with a definite answer. Until the MPP will tell you, say, they are going to court. Because you know, say, it is the committee's report. The lecturer say, we should do a debate or not. Because in the first place, if you knew you could do the debate, why did you set up a committee? So you have given them more weapons to rely on. Until at this point, some of the committee reports about now a split decision. What are you going to do? Because when you say we should debate, you are not being fair to Kenoforiata, because some of the questions that he did not answer, he needs to go to court to answer. What are you going to do, Alban Bagbin? So Alban Bagbin basically set Oforiata free. But I would like to say, I am very, very much pleased, and I am very confident to say, as we move on, our politics is changing. The young politicians are proving something. Their intelligence, their eloquence, their level of analyzing issues, the way they are giving themselves up for people to correct them and also learning from their mistakes. No, it's shocking. And I keep saying, say, Enya Ablakwankwa, and I say Enya Zenato. From the NDC side, you could see clear commitment and the level of intelligence, you know, it is becoming like a normal thing in the NDC now. You see the way the NPP people deliberate on issues, ask their questions, and you see the way the NDC are always poised with facts, the way they express their views, they carry their messages. It is looking clear. After the area clear say party in Krantia People's Party, the MPP and Krantia People's Party. So we have the men in Krantia. And when you sit back and you are listening to this NDC people ask questions, the way they are taking their time to break things down, to analyze the issues, you get to understand say, we have been lied to for a long time. So NPP is a party of intellectuals. No. Sana eya dada. Sana e suit share. Sana we imposters. What hurts me in the say? It took us a long time to know that the NDC has come of age. This new group, this new generation of the NDC parliamentarians, you know, they can make this country very proud. And I don't say this because I'm not being biased, but sometimes when you sit back and analyze, even with them in parliament, their contributions, you could see clearly. She Amwakwata, she will be to say a Greek minister. She will be to say, you Asensubuachi, me born Asensubuachi. Listen to Asensubuachi.
As you may all know, the Saglemi Affordable Housing Project was initiated in 2012 for the delivery of 5,000 housing units at a total cost of $200 million under an engineering procurement contracting EPC agreement with Measures Constructura OAS Ghana Limited. By the end of the stipulated completion date, the original contract of the project had been amended 3 times, with the project scope reducing from the initial 5,000 housing units to 1,506 housing units. Although an amount of $195,854,969 million 854 $195,854 and 969.52, approximately $196 million, representing 98% of the project funds, had been expended. That notwithstanding, the 156 housing units were at various stages of completion.
You have allowed the NPP to lie to us to the point. I say housing units, housing mercy, and these are we have the men. So when you sit back, sometimes Ubusa will say, how did we get here? Is it because majority of those people who are smart in parliament, because it is clear, it is showing too much. Because I feel, say, the idea, because look at Suhini, when he's contributing in parliament. Look at Sam George, when he's contributing in parliament. Look at all these guys. Look at their late, like, you could see, because when we are Santifonquara, when we are Kanfo, we have created an impression, said, when we Jimmy, but we cannot push these things under the water. It is basically showing now. We are all seeing it. We are all seeing it. The young MPP, for we know they are dumb. In Penifon, men come as Mamma, a Greek minister about them. Attaching about them, just say, so sometimes you sit and ask, I didn't think a man for between say a creative an idea said the NDC for no. The NDC are showing say intellectually they have more thinking, right thinking young people to ask questions. Just say their deliveries. We have a president who does not have a certificate. And sometimes obi to me not the Ekufuado compare Mahama. Like utilize what about them? I just say, oh yeah, analysis now want to see NCNE. Like obi to me can say Mahama between what the Ekufuado does not have certificate. Ekufuado or a 3rd class student. Inti what's now one obusa say is it because in Kofu in Yambo mudi or saying kahu Kwame Amuakon kahu Atan kahu ye frobi okuja to black or ya wunini nti onimnyansa kura ye ntiase. Ye frobi is Senator Rawlings or ya wunini into the contribution to Ghana's development in parliament. We will not accept it. Ye fre obi suwini or ye pepe ni teni into onimnyansa kura ye ntiase ye beka so ejimi for. Ye frobi Sam George or ye onya santini ye friend or say into just look at Mutala, look at what the NDC is presenting and look at what the NPP is presenting in parliament. Now, let's talk about the National Cathedral. We will start with some of the videos. Now, this is Okudjata Blakwa and the questions and wait for the answers.
I note from the honorable ministers response that he appears to set his own parameters and proceeds to answer them. He says at page 6, item number 12, Honorable co-chairs, 3 days ago, when the proponents were here, they alleged that I had made payments from the contingency fund to support the National Cathedral. I want to state that this is just not true. Let me be categorical. I have not taken no money from the contingency fund to make payments for the National Cathedral. He proceeds, paragraph 13. It appears the proponents have confused the contingency fund with the contingency vote. Let me explain. There is a difference between contingency fund and contingency vote. Co-chairs have been going through the verbatim report, the official transcripts of the proceedings of that day, because I didn't hear the proponents say this. And so when I went through the verbatim report at page 29 of 165, and honorable members can refer to the verbatim report, page 29. The Honorable Haruna Idrisu, he says, and I quote verbatim, I would like to start with the National Cathedral. Ghana is a much respected religious country where there is coexistence between both Muslims and Christians alike. Nobody is against the president promising and honoring God with a cathedral for the expression of the Christian faith. But when public resources are used for that purpose, it needs us to call into question. I just gave the clerk to the committee a warrant signed by the Honorable Minister for Finance for some amount for the cathedral, and that is what you are holding. I will tender it in evidence and say that we are aware that by warrant signed by Honorable Kenuforiata, Minister, 29th October 2022, and an expenditure of 142,762,500 Ghana cedis was allocated for the construction of the cathedral. We want to know when parliamentary approval was granted for this purpose. And then also, I refer to the Auditor General's report. I will just pick two and yield to Honorable Atuforsen, unquote. Nowhere in this verbatim report did the proponents say that money was taken from the contingency vote or contingency fund. Indeed, if you look at the grounds, Honorable co-chairs, it's very clear, and I'm surprised that the Honorable Finance Minister circumvents around a very clear grounds provided in this motion. It says, and I read, unconstitutional withdrawals from the consolidated fund in blatant contravention of Article 178 of the 1992 Constitution, supposedly for the construction of the President's Cathedral, unquote. That is the ground. So I want to find out from the Honorable Minister where this matter of contingency fund and contingency vote is coming from, because we don't see that in the verbatim report.
Honorable Minister, did you listen to the question?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I surely did. That's what
Very well. So can you answer the question?
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, the question here seems to suggest that there was unconstitutional withdrawals from the consolidated fund. So I went on to define the two different funds in which one might make a mistake, and made it very clear that A, we did not go through the contingency fund, and that we went through the contingency vote. So, I mean, I think that puts the issue of constitutional illegality.
Mr. Minister, 1 second. You say we are not all quite conversant with some of these economic terminologies. Maybe that is also conflicting the issues for even the committee member. So what are you saying? There is a distinction, and if there is, please clarify. There's a distinction between what is here, clearly written here, consolidated fund and then the consolidated vote. Is that what you're saying? Contingency vote. One second, Sammy, one second. Sammy, 1 second. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, but I think, Co-Chair, what the Honorable MP is suggesting that there was no mention of contingency vote and or contingency fund, and so I have
No. In the question, let's look at it again. It says specifically there were withdrawals, 2 items here. There were actually 3 items. There were withdrawals, 1, 2, from the contingency fund. Forgive me. If you talk in unison, we're going to be all confused. Consolidated fund, 2. And then the third one is the constitutionality or otherwise of it. So you have the consolidated fund here, and then you have the unconstitutional element attached to it. You seem to be drawing a distinction between the consolidated fund and then a third one, a second one, which is what?
The contingency vote.
The contingency vote. So let's see if let's get it right. Happy for your technical people, because that's why they are around you. If there's any issue that the technicals can help, we have no difficulty at all.
Mr. Co-Chair, I mean, it was important that we made that distinction, and essentially what Honorable is saying, that it's unconstitutional to have withdrawn proceeds from the consolidated fund. And I was making it clear that whatever money comes from the consolidated fund goes into a number of items. That could be anything. And in the consolidated vote, maybe resources that we go into consolidated contingency vote, where we go through, or contingency fund, which we did not use. And so that really is my line of discussion. If it was
like, see this is a serious country. Like what you watched, like Shadebi Aoshe. Yebusa, a simple question. Utam Sika, did you withdraw money from the contingency fund to work on the National Cathedral? Uyi Sika free Ghana for Sikim from the beginning, or say no? But Oyisika free contingency vote. Contingency fund in free all. And also okay, and you know Oyisika no. But we judge after Oyi contingency vote. Now that's fine. And I'm Sabusano. The same vote, no. Does it acquire or does it require a year permission or approval? Then he runs and says, now the money is appropriation bill, or he went to hide under appropriation bill. Because also when you free contingency funding, but you free a contingency vote, that's fine. But the issue here is, did you get approval? Or say, oh, right now there's something called appropriation bill, and they move on, say, show us evidence of the appropriation bill. Say, or say no, there's something now called a government obligation. Sikabaku, che baby, how is Sikano contingency fund? That be contingency vote. Okay, unya approval or approval to do that. Or say no, there's something called what we call appropriation bill. That's fine. Now give us evidence or provide evidence to say appropriation bill. No, that is why. Or say, oh, now there's something called government obligation. Still, MPP in Kwasiafo will say they still want to for real. They just you know why say moi. Like it's like we are mad. I just say yatigana na see enim nyansa and akwa wait to his be or kasa. He does not care. We need to beg him for him to get up, for him to take his time. Hey, Rade, take his time. Ghana sika 100.7 million no yenko Supreme Court yembeji answer. Yes, busa say cathedral sika no the right process, a contingency fund, contingency vote, appropriation bill, a government obligation. Just say the answer, the body language. Hey, Jack, sometimes it's not even worth doing this, man. Now, Monsantieno, we are still on this matter.
Can establish a contrary fact, Mr. Chair.
Yeah. So we move on.
Well,
No, yeah, but he has to finish.
yeah,
all his
Mr.
questions.
Chairman,
Yeah.
when you go through the verbatim report, the proponents.
Wait a minute, this is still on which
Yes,
one?
National Cathedral. I'm still on the
But
National
not
Cathedral.
on the money.
No, I would.
constitutionality
Yes,
of
I trust my intercepted document, so no problem.
I'm sure the national security apparatus is here, who are intercepting documents.
I will grant the lawyers that if they don't want the minister to respond, that's okay. But going through the verbatim report, the proponents also indicate that there were other withdrawals, which they contend are unconstitutional withdrawals for payment of architect, for relocation of judges, for compensation of demolished properties. What does the Minister of Finance have to say about that?
So, I mean, are we not revisiting the same point? Wait a minute. The point is that he's taking some money. Yeah, he's taking money from wherever it was taken from, for all the allied matters related to the cathedral. So what is it better? To what? Agree to what? Put a question. Does he agree to which one?
Can he confirm they were those withdrawals?
Have you not shown us this document? Compensation. The architect
No,
it's not about the cathedral.
Counsel, we just want your client to confirm if these withdrawals took place. That is a yes or no answer or an explanation. So that is there.
Honorable
Yes.
Chair, Honorable Co-Chair, sorry, my apologies. We do appreciate this, but we seem to think that this question is related to the overall questions that was posed in relation to the cathedral project. So it appears that we are revisiting the same questions in various forms, and that is our concern. We seem to think that the Honorable Minister has answered.
Counsel, with all due respect, I think, welcome to the world of Parliament.
Thank you, Honorable Co-Chair.
You probably are thinking that you are before the Supreme Court justices. No, this is not a judicial setting.
Not at all.
Yes, so in Parliament we ask follow-up questions. So allow the honourable member to ask his question. Your client is entitled to, answer yes or no, and then we can proceed.
Very well.
It's anybody, we're waiting for answer or we should go on?
Mr. Chairman,
Sorry, say it again.
not here.
Honourable Minister, are you ready to answer?
Sure,
Or-
Mr.
yes.
Chairman, I am, I thought the primary issue was the legality of where we took the resources from. And I think we've explained it. And so now he gets to the question of the specificity of these things. And Mr. Chairman, I do not have that here.
Jack. Yenyabutu crew mu I swear be catching the panel, Jack. The more I watch this, the more I get pissed off, man. Jack, the more I watch this, the more I feel like there should be an uprising. No, like where we are now, no. The more I watch this, the more I get angry, Jack. Now, the more I listen to this, the more I get pissed off. Time and I show the program because I'm sharing man. But when I sit back and I watch this, what that this guy, Jack. Yeah, we are also humans, so yes, see nipa. Yes, so the way people we feel it all. Jack, I dare wish away pa baby Jack, being woody I mean Jack. I can't even take it when I'm watching it. Like, it's our money. Where did he take the money from? Did you pay the money? Yes. The guy is telling us the honor pay. Like, Oforeta is telling us, near what Ghana pay. I grown kwasiafo when I'm catching them and say, Mimi muadie. Obiti Ghana kasa Kevin Taylor muadie. Me this am kwasiafo we atama. O se Mimi muadie. Sam muamai. We have given our taxes to these people. Then somebody says somewhere, Kevin Muadie. See the logic in this. Are you not pissed off? Like, I swear to God, are you not angry? Damn it, man.
Thank you, Honorable Co-Chair. Just for clarity, would the Minister kindly inform the committee on how much the government of Ghana has spent to date on the National Cathedral?
That matter is settled. That is the point. Wait a minute. That is the.
And I can't see with Jimmy. Now, what answers for me okay there? And answers for me okay. More Katie, more okay, pa. And answers for me okay. Mentally, me okay. Are you people all right? I'm going to Abama Katie Amonwe. And answers for me okay. I'm so mad tonight. And answers for my dream fear. Just say, me okay, pa.
Thank you, Honorable Co-Chair. Just for clarity, would the Minister kindly inform the committee on how much the government of Ghana has spent to date on the National Cathedral?
That matter is settled. That is the point. Wait a minute. That is the. Wait a minute, please. We are here for a purpose. We're not going to be repetitive. We're not going to repeat that. The matter that we got bogged in with Sami was the question of how much. Has this been paid here? He said, I think we were here, we heard him clearly, that, well, he might not be able to recall exactly how much has been paid in total up to he made that one clear. And your question again is that, well, can you tell us how much has been paid?
In all fairness, Co-Chair, in this age of electronic communication, and the easy availability of information from the Honourable Minister's ministry, the sum total of the expenditure to date can be put together easily. I'm sure Eva, can do that, retrieve that easily from her phone. So please, it's a fair question.
For the purpose of this
well, for purposes of getting, the minister to answer the question. Honorable Minister, we are waiting for the figure.
Honorable Co-Chair.
Yes.
On behalf of the Minister, you would recall that on the first date...
Honorable, sorry. Counsel.
Yes.
Are you raising a legal technical point?
I am raising a point which, in my considered opinion, will offer appropriate information.
No, you cannot testify before this committee.
I'm not testifying.
If you want to testify on behalf of your minister, your client, then I'll let the clerk swear you in.
I don't have a problem with that.
Or you want to be sworn in?
I don't want to be sworn in. If I were to be sworn in, I will be a witness of truth.
A witness of fact. We don't know about the truth or otherwise of your testimony.
Yes, but that evidence will not even be coming from proper custody because I don't work at the Ministry of.
Very well.
Yes.
So,
but at any rate, what I'm just trying to lay the context in which the minister is probably having a difficulty offering figures now, because at the beginning we opined that we needed particulars of the charge or the grounds that he was supposed to answer. If these had come in, it's just a matter of adding figures at the ministry and coming here to deliver the information. And I will go back to the motion on the floor of Parliament. It is not the duty of the minister to offer information that will, excuse me to say, promote his censure. The promoters of the censure motion, they should have collated all this information before they came here.
Counsel, so it's a very simple matter of the minister saying that I do not have the figures.
Exactly.
This committee will not reject that answer as inappropriate. Yes. I don't know why.
I think he has
said so, yeah, if he says he doesn't have the figures, no one is going to compel him to produce them. Yes, Honorable, no, is that on a point of order?
Yes, Chairman, with due respect to Council, this matter crop up regarding furnishing the minister with particulars. This committee has taken a decision that after the evidence of the proponents, there will be a transcript furnish the finance minister. And that has been done. And some figures has been alluded to in the transcript. So I do not sit down here and have the feeling that regarding the transcript, there is any element of surprise to the minister. So if the minister, upon receipt of the transcript, is still maintaining that he is not aware of the figure, we'll take that as an answer.
So let us point him to the page where that particular figure is, and then let him comment on it. My friend.
No, it's okay. The minister is entitled to answer his question, and then.
Yes.
Honorable Co-Chair, am I to take it that I will not be given a response to my question? Because as a House of Records, I could mention a figure that I have. Will the ministry be in a position to corroborate this by providing us with documents afterwards?
I think it's a better approach. You got a document like Sami had something. You know, you want to flash it at him and you want to seek clarification of that. We have no difficulty with that. But to ask
based on the total number I have so far, the amount that the government of Ghana has spent so far on the cathedral is $199 million, US dollars. I beg your pardon, US cedis. I beg your pardon.
Ghana cedis.
No, the amount of money spent by the government of Ghana to date is 199 million cedis. I corrected myself. May I? Is that correct?
So, can Ofuriatta decide not to answer question? Like, he is the finance minister. You have taken you are the signatory to our money. You are the last person who signs for monies to be taken from Ghana's Bank of Ghana to do anything. And you sit in front of Ghanaians and we politely give you audience. Say, Sika send away Yidia National Cathedral. Can Ofuriatta answer? What the lawyers that work actually say we don't have the right to ask him. Yani Momuya fire figure mra. Oh, on the finance minister. This is unbelievable, man. Me who be that in my life. In fact, me no me Jack. Like what you are watching is not a joke. Finance minister did not even give us that respect to say yes or no. Or to one or say. And this person will come and tell you quotations. 190 million. Finance minister said yes or no. Now, even just give us that respect, keke. Just get up and sit upright and talk to us, keke. God forgive us.
Co-Chair, the minister mentioned in his response on page 7 that the money was taken from what he referred to as a contingency vote. And my question is whether all the approved amounts have found expression in the budget subsequent to that, because usually this is an emergency or an ad hoc, but this appears to be an ongoing expense. Has this found expression anywhere? Has this found expression anywhere in the budget, in subsequent budgets that the minister has presented to the House?
Could you please clarify that question a bit?
Honorable Senator, the Honorable Minister is asking that you clarify.
What I'm referring to is the minister mentioned that the money that was spent on the cathedral came from a contingency vote, which is part of the contingency fund, Office of Government Machinery. Has this other government obligations, I beg your pardon, has this subsequently found expression in budgets that he has presented to the House subsequent to this?
Honorable Minister.
Madam Co-Chairs, thank you very much. It hasn't found the expression that the Honorable MP is seeking. But I think when we look at the Auditor General's opinion, Attorney General's opinion, I'm sorry, we should, in the ensuing years, as we stabilize how the funding will come, it should be able to come through that entity. So yes, no expression has been found as we speak. But given the opinion, I would imagine that's where it would happen.
Like the finance minister has somebody sitting by him telling him what to say. Finance minister no obitin in China or catching and say can say. La. Finance minister na any day sikaramano no mami bi sha we getting in China can we consolidated fund obligation. Na yet Ghana obi asa akwada. Hey, Radeja go for. Hey, who? Na nkwasi afo bi efra ntoma betene chiro se support to Kenu Furiata. Udi o mata wese Kevin Muade. Mo finance minister ni you. And he chooses which question to answer. Like Ghana no be there. Does Ghana belong to somebody? Why is it so difficult for this guy to resign? And why is it so difficult for Ekufuor to make this guy resign? Na mo Ghana for na mo ti wona yeti ha kasa kire bro ade we abroche ki kuna masa hwe ati akofo ye mu obi abie mu
Okay, very well. Given that you clearly stated, Co-Chair, given that the Minister clearly stated that the information on the cathedral on page 9, I beg your pardon, in the new document on page 8 of the minister's response, 18I, where he refers to the announcement of the establishment of the Board of Trustees and the Secretariat for the Castle, I beg your pardon, Cathedral, II, the approval of the groundbreaking ceremony, III, and then also the letter of intent signed, and then in IV, the announcement of the expansion of the cathedral project to include a Bible museum. For me, the question I have is, given that all of these are so clearly stated, can the minister provide information or a bit of clarity to the committee why the amounts that were spent on the cathedral were not outlined as clearly as all the intentions and ceremonies that went along with the committee, with the cathedral, I beg your pardon?
Once the minister is at it, Zami, you don't have to put it on record, but tell me, I thought you were Catholic or Methodist or Christian, or you are not a Muslim, that I know, you are not.
Neither am I anti-cathedral, but you know
you
know that in the Bible, in First Chronicles,
Mr. Boke,
in First Chronicles, the Lord stopped David from constructing a cathedral for him because he had shed blood. So when it comes to the house of God, God wants us to proceed in holiness, in purity, in cleanliness, to edify and to glorify Him.
You haven't answered.
So,
are you Methodist?
No, I know where you are headed to. I'm not atheist. I'm not a pagan. This strategy.
Honorable Ablakwa, I think you've made your point. He's, in fact,
the chairman
partially out of order.
We really have to. So what's going on there?
Like this. So can Fred cannot even answer questions. So Usha, the whole thing. Questions that were posed to the guy, 90% he didn't answer them. Kofoti ho or henina. Man.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to just ask a brief question the Finance Minister on the issue under reference. Honorable Finance Minister, you tendered Attorney General's opinion in evidence in support of your evidence. Was the opinion of the Attorney General available at the time you were making the first payment to the National Cathedral?
Yeah. Mr. Co-Chair, opinion was in 25th March 2022.
So when was the first payment made?
I'm sure it was way before that time. As you know, we cut short somewhere 5th March 2020 or so.
Now, if you take a look at the opinion of the Attorney General, he never advised you on payment, but rather the legal status of the cathedral. Sure. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Is that correct?
Yeah, the legal status, that's correct.
But never on payment?
Not that I read any here, but...
Jack, what's the time? Jack, you can call. You can call. I can pick a few calls, man. I mean, I'm depressed already, Jack. Yeah, if you want to call, just call. And the bit my we've been able to do whatever we can do from here. Yeah, to my idea, bit my into me. So moment to the air and I say, Namon Pese, we can't kill ourselves again. Into me. Jack, let me pick one or two. Yeah, the bit my watching this, and Ghanaians are still not mad. I think you guys, nobody needs to fight for any Ghana again. This is stupid. It's like, it's just a waste of time.